Good morning, children. Welcome to another grammar class. Today we will be doing a lesson from grade 7 textbook, Where Love is, God is. Okay. So it is a story about an old man who has lost his family, and he's lost his wife and many children. And in the end, there was one child remaining, but even that child was also infected with some illness, and he also passed away, leaving this man all alone in this world. So he's a cobbler, and we will see what his experiences are and how he has learned to accept life, even though there were so many tragedies in his life. So we will read the text. I will share the text. Okay, so it's the first chapter. Okay. And it is by Leo Tolstoy. First, we will read a little about the author of this story. And it is an abridged version. The actual story is a longer story, and it is a portion from that big story that we are doing today. It's an abridged version. So we will read a little about Leo Tolstoy. Very lovely stories he writes. If you can get a chance, please try to read more stories of his. Leo Tolstoy was a Russian novelist and playwright. He lost his parents when he was a child and was raised by his relatives. He joined the army and fought in the Crimean War. While serving in the army, he used most of his free time to write. His first published book was Childhood. Tolstoy and his wife Sophia had 13 children, but only 10 of them survived infancy. Tolstoy died on 20th November 1910 after contracting pneumonia. So he also was a victim of pneumonia. So we will start reading the lesson, and I will explain as we go. Where love is, God is. Martin Advait, a cobbler, lived in a tiny room in a basement. The room had only one window. Through the window, he could see only the feet of those who passed by. He had lost all but one of his children in their infancy. When his wife died too, Martin was left with a 3-year-old son. When the boy reached an age when he could help his father, he too fell ill and died a week later. Full of sorrow, Martin prayed that he might die too. He stopped going to church. So in this para, you can see that he was very depressed because of all the happenings in his life. He has lost his children, he has lost his wife, and even the last child he hoped would help him in his work, even he lost that little child as well. So as we go, I will underline the difficult words or new word vocabulary. Please take it down. And before we start the chapter, I want you to write in your notebook the title of the chapter, date, and also enter it in the index. And we can write new vocabulary or new words and start. As I underline, you can take it down. I will give you a dictation in the next class. Okay. Now in his old age, Martin wanted to draw nearer to God. One day, a man from the monastery visited him, and Martin began to complain about his sorrows. All I ask of God is that I may soon die, Martin said. The man replied, You have no right to say such things, Martin. We cannot judge God's ways. You are in despair because you wish to live for your own happiness. What else should one live for? Asked Martin. Live for God. When you learn to live for Him, you will not grieve, said the old man. But how is one to live for God? Asked Martin. The man answered, Christ has shown us how to live for God. That day, Martin bought himself the New Testament. He read it every night, and the more he read, the more clearly he understood how to live for God. Okay. So far what happens is a person comes from the monastery who visits Martin. So the minute he sees, the minute Martin meets him, after a few talkings, he will tell him that he is fed up with life because of all the tragedies that he has faced, and even he wants to go away from this world. He would also like to die. But the old man says, advises him not to talk like that. He has no right to take his own life. And God has a purpose for everything that he does. Maybe there is a reason why he has gone through all these tragedies. So he should not lose hope, but look for happiness in some other way. So he does not understand what is meaning. So all that this man says is, you try to live for God. So the only way he could find out for himself is by reading the Bible. New Testament is one portion of the Bible. You have the Old Testament and the New Testament. So he went and bought a Bible for himself and started reading it. So he realized that as he continued to read, the more he read, the better he started to understand what is God's message for him. Once Martin came upon the verses from the Gospel of Luke. So this is a chapter in the Bible. So when he read this, he to him that smitteth thee on the one cheek, offer also the other. And from him that taketh away thy cloak, withhold not thy coat also. Give to every man that asketh thee, and of him that taketh away thy goods, ask them not again. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. So this is in the old English form. So this is how the words are written in the Bible. So he's reading a portion of the verses that is mentioned in the Bible. So it is in Old English, to him that smitteth beyond the one cheek. That is what Devanar Gandhi has said, isn't it? That when somebody slaps you on one cheek, offer him the other also. So don't respond violence with violence. So he's saying you offer him your other cheek. If somebody hits you, don't retaliate. And from him that taketh away thy cloak. So people who take things away from you, or who grabs, or who robs you, give them more. Maybe they are in more need than you. So offer them some other thing that you have that he does not have. And don't ask for it back. Don't ask them to return it. And so you treat others, you would them as do ye also to them likewise. So how you expect others to treat you, that is, that men should do to you. How you expect others to treat you, treat others the same way. Okay, so these verses in the Bible began to make sense to him. He started to understand what is the message being given. Martin felt happy when he read these words. He kept reading till he fell asleep. Martin, he suddenly heard a voice. Who's there? He asked. Then he heard quite distinctly, Martin, Martin, look out into the street tomorrow, for I shall come. So distinctly means very clearly he could hear somebody's voice calling out to him. So the voice said, tomorrow look out from the window, that voice will be coming. The next morning, he rose before daylight and after saying his prayers, he prepared his meals. Then he sat down to work by the window. However, he looked out into the street more than he worked. So he was anticipating to see somebody arrive. He was hoping that somebody will be coming, like the voice told him. So more than his work, he could not concentrate on his work. More, he was looking outside the windows, wondering who is going to come. Then an old soldier named Stepanich came to clear away the snow. Stepanich leaned his spade against the wall. He did not have the strength to work. Martin called Stepanich and gave him some tea to drink. So he knows that outside it is very cold. So he called this old soldier. He was with a spade. He was working with a spade. Maybe he was trying to remove the snow which was covering the road. So he was clearing the pavement and roads with his spade, which was completely covered with snow. So after doing a lot of work, he was tired. He was leaning his spade against the wall. When Martin noticed it, so he realized he was feeling very tired after such a hard work. So he invites him inside for a cup of tea. Thank you, Martin, for giving me food and comfort for both soul and body, Stepanich said. So he was very happy that Martin offered him some food. So he said that tea was like a food for his soul and body. Not only did it relieve his tiredness, even mentally he was very happy and satisfied that he was treated so well by Martin. After Stepanich went away, Martin continued to look out of the window. Then a woman wearing worn-out summer clothes with a baby in her arms stopped by the wall with her back to the wind, trying to wrap the baby. Martin called her inside. So once Stepanich went off, after a few minutes, after some time, he saw a young woman with worn out. What is worn out? Means all torn and tattered clothes. And she also was carrying a little baby in her arms. And she was leaning against the wall with her back to the wind. She was trying to protect the baby from the cold wind, trying to wrap the baby. So he noticed that another little young lady had come with a baby inside. So he calls her inside and asks her to come inside. Okay, so shall we stop here? We will continue in the next class. Okay. So till here, we will just, I will share a PPT with you for the difficult words. Okay, and please underline some difficult words on this page also. Stepanich, comfort, worn out. Okay. Finish. Just take down these words. And I hope from the other page also we've taken down all the difficult words. Now I want you to make sentences with these words which I've marked. Whichever new words we've marked, try to make a sentence for the next class. Now, there is a PPT I have here to share with you. So just see the meanings: infancy, the period from birth to 1 year of age. So in your SSD, the PPT is shared. So please go through these PPTs, which has all the meanings of new words given. Now there are some comprehension questions. Who was Martin? He was a cobbler. Where did he live? In a small, tiny room in the basement, and it had a window which overlooked the street. So try to answer these in your own words, then you can check it with the given answers. How did Martin recognize the people? He, just looking at their boots, he could make out who was walking outside his window. What was the mental state of Martin? He was very sad and depressed. In his old age, he had no will to live, and he was hoping to die soon because he was depressed that he had lost all his family members. What advice did Martin get from an old pilgrim? The old pilgrim told Martin that he had no right to wish for death. This we've done already, so you have to write it in your own words. But he asked him to live for God, as God gives life to us and wants us to live for him. The way will be shown by God. So he advises him that you continue with serving people, and God will show you the way. How did Martin's life change? Martin's life changed when he got the Old Testament. So once he started reading it was supposed to be New Testament here. He read it every night and he realized how to live for God. So which was the book, which was the chapter he read in the New Testament? Testament was Luke. Okay. So what was Stepanich doing outside Martin's window? Stepanich was clearing away the snow in front of Martin's window. So it must have been a pavement. So he was clearing all the snow from there. Why did he keep his spade against the wall? He kept his spade as he did not have enough strength to clear the snow. So he was working all day. So now he was getting tired. So when Martin realized that he was feeling tired, what did he do? Yes, he invited him inside for a cup of hot tea, which made him very happy. Okay, this is the next portion when we will read. We will do those meanings. So go read through the entire chapter once more, and any portion you are not able to understand, you can mark it out and we will discuss it again in the next class. So you can just try to, as homework you can do, can you summarize what is the meaning of this para? So this is your homework. You have to read this and write down what advice was given in the Gospel of Luke. What did he understand and what message was received from the Bible chapter Gospel of Luke. So that is one homework for you. Another one, let us see which portion we've done. We can do the text answers also. Okay. Yes, you can also do this. Okay, and yes, only this portion we've done in the extracts. Then yes, you can also do this. Okay. So please mark out these question answers. Why had Martin lost his purpose of life? What advice did Martin get from the old man from the monastery? Why did Martin invite the woman with the baby inside his house? These three answers you can try from the 30 to 40 words questions. Then after that, what inspired Martin to read the New Testament every day? So that also you can try. And the third one. Okay. And in the fourth one, you can do for A, for B. This is the only portion we have completed so far. The remaining we will do next time. Okay. So this many question answers. Please do it. It is just related to what we completed today. So the remaining we will do in the next class. So I hope you understood the portion that we've read today. Read it once again at home, and any doubt you have of any word or any portion that you didn't understand, we can clear it in the next class.